Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you've been wanting to create your very own digital courses, but you're looking for a totally streamlined, unintimidating roadmap to get past the technical stuff, well, you're exactly in the right place. Today, we're going to master Articulate Storyline 360 together. We're stripping away all the heavy jargon and just giving you the solid foundational tools you need to become a confident course creator. So let's unlock this incredible tool.
To keep us on track, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Meet Storyline 360. 2. Navigating project views. 3. Interactivity and design. 4. Animations and slide masters. And finally, 5. Publishing your course.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Meet Storyline 360, your e-learning canvas. At its core, Articulate Storyline 360 is what's called an e-learning authoring tool. But what does that actually mean for us? Basically, it means you have this fantastic blank digital canvas to create highly interactive online content. And we are not just talking about boring bullet points on a screen here. We're talking about really engaging quizzes, full-screen recordings, and even totally immersive software simulations. Plus, the content you build is mobile-ready right out of the gate, and it integrates seamlessly with practically any standard learning management system you can think of. It's really an all-in-one powerhouse.
Now, if you're feeling a little nervous about learning a brand new software interface from scratch, let me just put your mind at ease. When you compare the structure of Storyline 360 to Microsoft PowerPoint, they are incredibly similar. The layout, the interface, that familiar ribbon across the top. Honestly, if you have ever built even a basic presentation in PowerPoint, you already have the foundational logic you need to navigate Storyline. You are definitely not starting from zero.
Moving right along to Section 2, Navigating Project Views, Getting the Big Picture.
When you first open the software up, the pipeline is super straightforward. Step 1, you can start a brand new project just by hitting Ctrl+N. Or, and this is brilliant, you can actually import an existing PowerPoint presentation to give yourself a massive head start. Once you're inside, you hit Step 2, which is Story View. Think of Story View as your macro map that gives you this great bird's-eye overview of your whole project's flow and all your scenes. But when you need to get down into the nitty-gritty details, you just double-click right into Step 3, the Slide View. That's your micro canvas. That's where you actually build and customize your individual slides with whatever text or media you want.
So let's talk a little more about what's inside that slide view, because these are the layout elements you're going to be using constantly. Right smack in the middle is your slide canvas, your main visual workspace. Down at the bottom, you've got your timeline, which is totally crucial for controlling exactly when your objects appear and disappear. Right next to that is the States panel, we'll get into that in a second, and the Notes panel. Now the Notes panel is amazing because you can keep your voiceover scripts or your developer notes right there. Having your scripts literally right underneath your visual canvas is an absolute game changer for an efficient workflow.
Okay, Section 3, Interactivity and Design. Let's bring this thing to life.
To build real, genuine interactivity, you absolutely have to know what I like to call the big 3 core components. First up, states. These let an object change its appearance dynamically, like, say, making a button turn green the moment a learner hovers their mouse over it. Second, we have slide layers. These are amazing because they let you pop up additional content right on top of your base slide, so you don't even have to navigate the user to a whole new screen. And third, triggers. Triggers are literally the brains of the operation. They tell the software, hey, when the learner clicks this specific button, show this specific slide layer. Mastering these 3 things is honestly what transforms you into a true storyline developer.
But wait, before you get too deep into building all those cool interactive elements, you have to make a really critical choice over in the Design tab, your story size. By default, Storyline sets your dimensions to 720 by 540, which is that classic older 4:3 aspect ratio. However, as we know, pretty much all modern screens, tablets, and phones are widescreen now. So you can very easily switch this over to a 16:9 widescreen ratio. Making this choice right at the start ensures your beautiful content actually fills up the screens your learners are using today.
Also hiding in that Design tab are your design themes. And wow, these are incredibly powerful for saving you time. A theme basically bundles together 3 things: your background look, your color scheme, and your fonts. You can easily create custom color schemes and font sets to match exactly with any strict corporate branding guidelines you might have. You just set it up once, and boom, your entire course is perfectly unified and looks super professional.
Next up is Section 4, Animations and Slide Masters. This is where we really polish up the experience.
When you want to add some motion, you've got some heavy-hitting tools waiting for you in the Animations tab. You've got your standard entrance and exit animations to bring things on and off the screen with some energy. Then you have motion paths, which are super cool because they let you draw out the exact specific route you want an object to travel across your screen. But here is my absolute favorite feature. Slide transitions aren't just for moving from slide A to slide B. You can actually apply transitions directly to those individual slide layers we talked about earlier. It creates these unbelievably smooth, professional content reveals all within a single screen.
Now, to make sure all that polished design stays consistent across your whole project, you are definitely going to want to use Slide Masters, which you can find right under the View tab. Now, a blank project will just give you a few basic layouts by default, but you can go in and create as many custom layouts as your heart desires. You can even import the ones you already have in PowerPoint. Applying your custom theme colors and fonts directly to a Slide Master is going to save you from the absolute nightmare of manually formatting every single slide. Seriously, it is a massive time saver.
And finally, Section 5, Publishing your course, the final output.
Okay, before you hit that Publish button, you always have to hit Preview. Think of this as your final moment of truth. Storyline gives you 3 really handy options here. Step 1, you can preview just the exact slide you're working on right now. Step 2, you can preview the whole current scene to check how a specific group of slides flows together. Or Step 3, just preview the entire project from start to finish. This is your chance to step into your learner's shoes and interact with the course exactly the way they will. It's absolutely crucial for catching any little bugs before you do your final export.
Once everything is looking absolutely flawless, it is time to publish. When you click on the LMS option, you're going to see a few important settings. You'll drop in your course title, write a quick description, and choose where to save the files. Now look closely at the properties. It defaults to a format called HTML5 with Flash fallback. Honestly, that's a legacy setting. You will almost always want to jump in and change that to just HTML5 only, since every modern browser requires that anyway. You'll also see your quality settings here. Standard is the default, but let's say you've built a totally massive project with tons of heavy video and audio files. Well, you can actually dial down the quality settings right here to improve the performance and make sure it loads lightning fast for your learners. Finally, let's take a quick look at the reporting and tracking settings, because I know they can look a bit technical. Under LMS output, the system defaults to SCORM 1.2. That is the gold standard for most systems, but you can quickly swap it over to SCORM 2004 or whatever specific format your learning management system needs. And for tracking, you essentially have 2 simple paths to choose from. You can either track a learner's progress based purely on how many slides they've clicked through, or if you built a quiz, you can track them entirely based on their final score. It puts you completely in the driver's seat of your own data.
And just like that, we have reached the end of our roadmap. You now have a really solid grasp of the layout, you know the big 3 interactive elements, and you know exactly how to publish your final masterpiece out to the world. Storyline 360 is such an incredible tool for taking complex ideas and turning them into these amazing, engaging visual journeys. The software is ready, your digital canvas is completely blank, and you've got the fundamental skills to make it happen. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What kind of interactive world are you going to build first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy creating!